Elasticity of demand can be classified as elasticity of demand is equal to 1, elasticity of demand is greater than 1, elasticity of demand is less than 1, elasticity of demand is equal to 1, and elasticity of demand is equal to infinity. So elasticity of demand is equal to 1. That means whatever percentage change in price of a commodity, exactly same amount of quantity demand changes, then we can say elasticity of demand is equal to 1. The second one is relatively elastic demand. So it represents elasticity of demand is greater than 1. So here the elasticity of demand, the price of a commodity changes and the elasticity of demand changes more than the change in price of that commodity. For example, suppose there are changes 2% of price of a commodity and it leads to 5% change in demand of that particular commodity. So here we can say that the commodity is relatively elastic. Elasticity of demand is less than 1, that is relatively inelastic demand. Here what happens if the price of a commodity changes, for example 2%, and the quantity demand changes less than 2%, then it is called relatively inelastic demand, or elasticity of demand is less than 1. The fourth one is elasticity of demand is equal to 0, which is known as perfectly inelastic demand. That means whatever the percentage change in price of a commodity, it not at all it affected in huge amount of it does not affected the price of the elasticity of that commodity. For example, suppose there is a change in 2% the price of a commodity and the elasticity of demand, or suppose the quantity demand is not at all changes, then it is called perfectly inelastic demand. For example, salt. Suppose the price of salt reduces from 5 rupees to suppose 2 rupees, but we never increase the consumption of salt, or if the price of salt increases, then we never consume lesser amount of salt. So salt is a perfect example for relatively inelastic demand. The final one is perfectly elastic demand. That means if there is a slight change in price of a commodity, it increases huge amount, it leads to huge amount of change in quantity demanded. For example, gold market or suppose share market. So if there are change in suppose 500 rupees or 100 rupees, still the change of gold or share market leads a huge amount of changes. So here we can say that the commodity is perfectly elastic. That means a small change leads a huge amount of change of quantity demand.